Right now at 5, the Joplin Fire Department responds to a blaze at a vacant house in the Blendville neighborhood.
We are definitely colder this morning than we were yesterday, but still above average. We still have one more mild day or so out there before changes come in. We'll break it all down coming up.
A guinea pig rescue goes above and beyond as they take in a record number of abandoned guinea pigs.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's now Tuesday. So remember, we're now on the official downhill run to Friday. Getting closer each passing minute.
There you go.
Closer to Friday. And we are a little bit on the colder side out there than where we were yesterday morning at this time. So we're about 20 degrees cooler. But even then, we're still about 20 degrees above where our normal temperature for this time of year should be. We're at 40, but here's the good news. Take a look at what it says for wind. It says calm. The winds are a lot quieter this morning, but they have shifted. So we got 32 Iola, 34 Chanute, 28 in Parsons, 36 Miami, 38 Neosho, and up to 41 in Carthage as we start our day. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good so far. Got a green light for your morning drive as we're going to be mostly clear, but colder than yesterday in the 30s, and a green light for the drive home. We're going to have increasing clouds as we go through the day. It'll be mostly cloudy this evening. Temperatures in the 50s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, they're going to need that jacket once again as we're at 36 at 7 a.m., but with a light east breeze at about 5 to 10. Calm winds later, increasing clouds as we mentioned, 56 by 3 o'clock. We are heading for a high today of about 59 degrees. So still not bad, but again, we'll have those clouds building in. We'll be mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy later this evening, but temperatures are going to start to reach a point where they just kind of hover. We'll technically hit a low of about 51, and around 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to see some shower activity move into the area, and then we'll start to see some heavier rain as the overnight progresses, turning into the possibility of a thunderstorm or two by tomorrow morning, and those showers and thunderstorms will last throughout a good portion of tomorrow. In fact, as we take a look, you can see where our rain chances really start to jump. This is Joplin, this is the Pittsburgh area, and this is Miami, and all of us start to see that rain increasing as we head into the overnight hours. Right now, the computer estimates we could see maybe upwards of about ½ an inch to an inch of rain, but after this system moves through, it gets cold. It gets seasonable. Let me put it that way. These are seasonable temperatures, but they are cold. Thursday, Friday in the 40s, maybe some rain Saturday, maybe some light morning snow on Sunday, 42, and back up to 47 by Monday. Overnight lows dropping back into the 20s over the next several nights. So we've got today and tomorrow, and then after that, it's going to get chilly. And tomorrow, the temperature will start to drop after the rain moves out. So it's not going to stay warm all day like it will today.
Well, enjoy it then.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Sure.
This is really your last good day before winter returns.
So that 60 tomorrow is not going to be all day long then?
No, we'll hit it fairly early, and after the rain moves through, it will start to cool down quickly.
Good to know. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a Monday afternoon crash takes the life of a Wichita, Kansas woman. The crash happened just before 3 in the afternoon when a 2004 Nissan Maxima driven by Taylor Crispman crossed the center line on U-400 1 mile south of Fredonia. The Maxima struck the front of a 2015 Chevy Traverse driven by Shelley Niambane. The Traverse broke into several pieces. Niambane was taken to Wesley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. Crispman, who was 18 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. The OSBI and federal authorities arrested a Mays County, Oklahoma man on child pornography charges. Authorities say they received a tip last December about a child pornography uploaded through an IP address belonging to Paul Cook. Cook was arrested last Friday. He is charged with distribution and possession of child pornography, as well as violating the Oklahoma Computer Crimes Act. Well, the family of a Miami, Oklahoma man who was killed in a hit and run last year has settled a wrongful death case against the driver. The crash happened in Miami last February. Authorities say Mindy McBrien hit 58-year-old Guanzi Yi with her car and then drove off. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Under the settlement, McBrien has agreed to pay $100,000 in liability insurance limits to Yi's family. McBrien's criminal case is still going through the courts. She is charged with manslaughter and fleeing the scene of an accident. A semi crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. The crash happened in Carthage yesterday evening around Highway 96 in Jack Pine. And that crash knocked over a power pole, and some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 last night, the Empire Electric power outage map showed about 4,200 customers without power. Crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Joplin Fire Department does battle with a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure. The flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities. Crews had the flames out by just after 4. Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. Authorities in Cyril, Oklahoma say the search for a missing 4-year-old girl is now considered a recovery operation. Athena Brownfield has not been seen since last Tuesday. On that day, her 5-year-old sister was found outside of her relatives and caretaker's home by a postal carrier. Athena and her sister had been in the care of Alyssa and Ivan Adams for at least a year. Alyssa Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams faces 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. He was arrested in Arizona last week and is awaiting extradition to Oklahoma. After multiple calls of guinea pigs being abandoned at Austin, Texas parks, the local guinea pig rescue has had to step in a big way. The president of that organization is basically sharing her house with the animals, and it's about to get more crowded. Jessica Rivera explains.
When we get a large dump of this quantity of animals is the fact that I no longer have a kitchen.
Elizabeth Mack, president of the Austin Guinea Pig Rescue Group, has turned her kitchen into a foster facility for guinea pigs that she's taken in after getting numerous calls of animal dumpings in the city.
Steadily since August of last year, we're getting increasing calls to come rescue guinea pigs in the woods, as well as all of our local shelters are starting to see these animals.
Max says they started to notice a pattern in these calls.
All of the animals have satin, which, as I said, is a pretty rare thing except in the breeder circles and the show circles.
Having to take in so many guinea pigs has put a financial strain on the rescue group because most of the guinea pigs they rescued need immediate medical attention.
Most shelters are not set up to take pregnant animals, which is why we're here. Anytime a shelter gets a pregnant animal in, we take them.
Right now, Elizabeth and her family are already fostering 22 guinea pigs, but that number is about to double.
We will have a baby boom in the next 4 to 8 weeks because these ones will be old enough to adopt out. And we have round 2 coming because we just took in a bunch more that we found in the parks.
Animal dumping is a serious felony. Violators can see fines and even be put in jail.
That's why it's so important for them to know we'll be your amnesty, surrender them, we'll take them.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Parsons and Southeast face off in the Southeast Lancers Classic. We'll have who is moving on to the next round in sports. Plus, the Bills played the Dolphins on Sunday, and when they did, it was for their recovering player and with their goal to get to the Super Bowl. And teenagers who felt loved growing up may have better health as an adult. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, yesterday was the opening day of the Lancer Classic at Southeast High School. The boys bracket gets going yesterday with the girls bracket scheduled to begin today. Starting things off yesterday afternoon, the Columbus Titans on the floor against the Neodesha Blue Streaks. Colt Ungerauer pick and roll with Brett Hamilton. Hamilton rolls and finishes. Then check out Ungerauer. Drives, spins, scoops it in for 2. He's on the break behind everybody here. Two-handed jam. Columbus really rolled from the opening tip-off. On the other side, though, Drew Johnson made some plays for Neodesha. None cooler than this one. Beats the first quarter buzzer with a deep 3 off the glass. But in the end, it's Columbus cruising in the Lancer Classic opener 80-29. After that, Tournament host Lancers, 7-1 on a 5-game winning streak, face Parsons in round 1. Second quarter, Landon Wheat on the steal for Parsons. Goes the other way, gets up for the two-handed jam. That was a competitive first half. Easton Wren, strong drive and finish for the Lancers. Parsons, though, up 13 at half, and they would close this thing strong. Second half, Jesse Jones, floater in the lane. He scores 10 last night for the Vikings. Landon Wheat again, one-hander, puts on a show, finishes with 19 points. Dante Sawyer, open on the far side, knocks down the 3, 10 points for Sawyer. Finally, Demeas Johnson, top of the key, long ball goes down. Parsons hammers Southeast in the second half, going on to win it 69-34. Last night was also the opening night of the Tony Dubray Classic in Liberal. The girls bracket gets started with the hometown Bulldogs facing Northeast Vernon County. The winner of this one will play in the tournament semifinals tomorrow night. In the first quarter, Liberal moving the ball around. Taylor Swarns pulls up and connects from the wing. She scores 21 for the Bulldogs. Moving ahead to the third now. Lainey Simpson working on the block. One move and passes off to Abby Barton for the easy finish with the left. Bulldogs up 22 at that point. Finally in the fourth, Liberal closes this thing out. Elena Lanier with the open jumper for the Bulldogs. Liberal wins and moves on, beating Northeast Vernon County 54-42. Well, after a bye week to open the NFL playoffs, it's game week again for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs will play at home this weekend, facing the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC divisional round. This game is scheduled for 3:30 Saturday in Kansas City. Winner moves on to play for the AFC Championship. Right now, the Chiefs are 8-5 point favorites. It will be the second meeting of the season between these two teams. Kansas City beat Jacksonville 27-17 in Kansas City back in November. Since that game, though, the Jags have been really good. They've gone 7-1 since their loss to Kansas City. That includes winning their playoff opener last week against the Chargers. In that game, Jacksonville overcame a 27-0 deficit to beat LA 31-30. It's the third largest comeback in NFL history. Well, still to come, the Taliban orders women's clothes shops in Kabul to cover up their mannequins. Plus, we're going to take another look at a big cool down on the way when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, we're a little bit colder as we start our morning. We're at 40 degrees in Joplin, but one nice thing is the fact that the winds are now calm out there, and they're going to stay pretty calm throughout the day. However, the breeze, as light as it is, has shifted out of the north, and that's why we are a bit colder. Now, some of us are actually close to average, like Parsons at 28, Neodesha at 27. Some of us still a pinch above average. We got 32 Iola, 33 Pittsburgh, 36 Miami, and 38 in Neosho this morning. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline is looking pretty good so far. And for your morning commute, we do have a green light for that morning drive. We're a little bit colder, but we will have clear to mostly clear skies. However, the clouds will start to build in later. We got a green light for the drive home, but we'll start to turn mostly cloudy and see temperatures in the 50s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, grab that coat. It's going to be a chilly one at 7 a.m., 36 degrees, east breeze at 5 to 10. Cloudy skies build in, 3 o'clock. We're looking at 56, still holding on to a light easterly breeze. Now for today, we're heading for a high of 59, so not nearly as warm as we managed to make it yesterday, but still well above average for this time of year. And we'll have the clouds increase through the morning and into the afternoon until we're just plain old cloudy by 8 o'clock, 50 degrees. And then tonight, that's when things shake up a bit. We'll hit a technical low right around 51 degrees. We'll otherwise be in the 50s tonight. Rain chances increase, maybe even a rumble of thunder or two out there. We're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms, just some good old-fashioned thunderstorms. This is what it looks like as we head into early tomorrow morning. We'll start to see more activity building in. By noon, we're pretty well stocked in with some showers, some thunderstorms. But as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, this system exits pretty quickly, and then it's going to get downright chilly after that. So a quick look, you can see where our rain chances start to ramp up tonight, say right around 8 to 9 o'clock, and they'll really peak. This is for Joplin. You take a look at rain chances for Pittsburgh starting to peak overnight, and same as we look into northeast Oklahoma and Miami as well. We'll see those chances really begin to increase. On the average, we could pick up roughly a half inch to possibly an inch, and of course this will be adjusted as we get closer to the system, but we're getting some rain nonetheless. And then it gets downright chilly. I mean, it turns seasonable, but it's cold compared to what we've seen. So we drop back through the 40s, maybe even some morning snow on Sunday, down to 42, and overnight lows getting chilly as well. Well, the Buffalo Bills were playing for Damar Hamlin on the Sunday in their wild card matchup against the Miami Dolphins, and Hamlin was watching at home, cheering them on. Nate Foy has that story.
Despite initial reports that Damar Hamlin would be at the Buffalo Bills stadium today, he instead watched the game from home. Take a look. He tweeted this about an hour before kickoff, saying, quote, "My heart is with my guys as they compete today, supporting from home as I focus on my recovery. Nothing I want more than to be out there with them." Now, Hamlin visited the Bills practice facility yesterday. Take a look here. One of his teammates posted this picture on social media. You see he was all smiles. This comes just 2 weeks after he collapsed on the field. Here's one of his teammates talking about this moment.
For him to be in the building, man, it brought smiles and happy tears to everybody in the building. All we needed was just to see his face and see him walking around. Once we knew he was healthy, we kind of had a weight lifted off our shoulders.
Hamlin was discharged from the hospital just on Wednesday. He spent a week in critical condition, and you just heard how he inspired his teammates. He's inspiring people in Buffalo and all around the world.
Since Damar is injured, our community has reached out like no other. Buffalo is a city of good neighbors for a good reason, and we always have been. And the outpouring of love to Damar, it reached then the rest of the NFL internationally, and that's who we are. We are the city of good neighbors, and we are amazing. We are Buffalo.
As Hamlin continues recovering, there may be a rematch of the game that got canceled when he suffered cardiac arrest 2 weeks ago. If the Bengals beat the Ravens, the Bengals would then travel to Buffalo to play the Bills next week. That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite part of the Super Bowl? Is it the game, the commercials, the halftime show, spending time with family and or friends, the party food, or maybe all of those things, or perhaps something else? Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure that you vote through our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so in our app, and you can take part in the discussion in our Facebook page. We are back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch, did you feel sad yesterday? Some may say it might have to do with Blue Monday. Now, Blue Monday is dubbed as the most depressing day of the year, but scientists say it's unproved. Combined factors of the winter weather and post-holiday season are said to affect people to be blue, especially on the third Monday of January this year, landing on the 16th. Feeling guilty about not reaching New Year's resolutions goals and the lack of sunlight also plays a part on people's emotions during this time. We'll have more on Blue Monday in our 7 o'clock show. Well, a new study suggests that meditation may be the key to good health. Chinese researchers say gut bacteria was linked to a lower risk of depression, cardiovascular disease, and anxiety issues. Scientists believe that meditating can help people in enhancing their self-awareness and managing their emotions. Scientists also say practices associated with meditation, such as deep breathing, can help dilate blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow through them and lowering blood pressure. All of that can aid in improving gut health. Well, teenagers who feel loved grow up and may have better health in adulthood as well. A new study published in the Journal of American Heart Association found positive feelings in teens led to higher heart and metabolic health. Optimism, happiness, belongingness were just some of those feelings impacted. Teens who possessed these traits had less of a chance of suffering a heart attack or a stroke later in life. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are considerably colder as we start our day today. We have got warm weather once again, rain chances building in. We're going to break it all down when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the Joplin Fire Department responds to a blaze at a vacant house in the Blindville neighborhood.
We are clear, we are calm, we are cold as we start our Tuesday. We've still got a little bit of mild weather left before Mother Nature sends winter our way again. We'll break it all down coming up.
Dispatch group in Indiana hires a skunk part-time as an emotional support animal.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29, almost 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is a bit of a colder start for us today than what we saw yesterday. We're about 20 degrees-ish cooler than where we were, but we're still above normal, which is hard to believe. We're actually still above normal by about 10 to 15 degrees, if you can believe that, but it is chilly to start. Right now in Joplin, we've got clear skies. The winds are considerably calmer. We're at 40 degrees, though, as we start our day. Across the region, some of us are actually close to average, like Neodesha and Parsons, both at 28, 33 Pittsburgh, 36 Lamar, 41 in Carthage, and 35 in Miami as we start the day. As we take a look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline, we're looking pretty good. Got a green light for your morning drive. This will be mostly clear and cold. And as you head home, another green light though, even though we'll have increasing clouds, will be dry and mild. Kids getting on the bus, grab that jacket. We're looking at 36 by 7 a.m., but the wind is the best part here, east at 5 to 10. It's going to be a calm breeze throughout the afternoon as well. Clouds will increase starting late this morning and into the afternoon, up to 56 by 3 o'clock. Heading for a high right around 59 degrees today under mostly cloudy skies, and then it'll just be plain old cloudy. And then we'll start to see rain and maybe even some thunderstorm chances increase as we head into the overnight, dropping back down to about 51. Otherwise, it's just going to stay right in the lower 50s. After this system moves through, so we're up to 60 tomorrow. Temperatures drop after the rain. Then we're back to normal, but colder into the 40s, maybe even some morning snow on Sunday. And we'll make it back up to 47 by next Monday. So a little bit colder after this, but it's more seasonable. And we are getting some much needed rain out of the system as well.
But some pretty chilly lows, though. So be careful.
Absolutely. That's going to be cold.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a Monday afternoon crash takes the life of a Wichita, Kansas woman. The crash happened just before 3 in the afternoon when a 2004 Nissan Maxima, driven by Taylor Chrisman, crossed the center line on U-400 1 mile south of Fredonia. The Maxima struck the front of a 2015 Chevy Traverse driven by Shelley Niambane. The Traverse broke into several pieces. Niambane was taken to Wesley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. Chrisman, who was 18 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. The OSBI and federal authorities arrested a Mays County, Oklahoma man on child pornography charges. Authorities say they received a tip last December about a child porn uploaded through an IP address belonging to Paul Cook. Cook was arrested last Friday. He is charged with distribution and possession of child pornography as well as violating the Oklahoma Computer Crimes Act. The family of a Miami, Oklahoma man who was killed in a hit and run last year has settled a wrongful death case against the driver. The crash happened in Miami last February. Authorities say Mindy McBrien hit 58-year-old Kwanzin Yi with her car and then drove off. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Under the settlement, McBrien agreed to pay $100,000 in liability insurance limits to Yi's family. McBrien's criminal case is still going through the courts. She is charged with manslaughter and fleeing the scene of an accident. Well, Joplin Fire Department battles with a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure. And the flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. The JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities. Crews had the flames out by just after 4. Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. Well, semi-crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. The crash happened in Carthage last night around Highway 96 in Jack Pine. That crash knocked over a power pole and some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 p.m., Empire Electric power outage map showed about 4,200 customers without power. The crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Authorities in Cyril, Oklahoma say the search for a missing 4-year-old girl is now considered a recovery operation. Athena Brownfield hasn't been seen since last Tuesday. On that day, her 5-year-old sister was found outside her relatives and caretaker's home by a postal carrier. Athena and her sister had been in the care of Alyssa and Ivan Adams for at least a year. Alyssa Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams faces 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. He was arrested in Arizona last week and is awaiting extradition to Oklahoma. Well, you've heard of emotional support dogs, cats, and even ducks. How about an emotional support skunk? A group of dispatchers from Indiana have hired an adorable skunk part-time to help make the group of dispatchers feel better. Nathan Springfield has more.
Your first instinct when you see a skunk is probably to run away, right? Well, that's not the case at Knox County Central Dispatch.
What are you doing? I know.
Meet Nugget. He was adopted from the Indiana Skunk Rescue in North Salem, Indiana in 2020.
My adult daughter actually brought him home. She went and found him, and I was against it. And he was only 10 weeks old, and he kind of took to me more than he took to her.
And if you can't tell, Blaney's love for Nugget quickly grew. Sometime last year, she decided to bring Nugget into her job at Knox County Central Dispatch.
It was supposed to be just one time, hey, do you guys mind if he comes in?
Everyone instantly fell in love with Nugget. In fact, he began visiting the dispatch center here so often, he was hired on as a part-time employee. His official title? Emotional Support Skunk. To make it official, Nugget has a badge and unit number. It's 42 PU. Workers there say he makes the stressful job so much easier.
I took a really hard call and I was just sitting there and she's, you need Nugget. You need Nugget. So she got him out and I just held him and it kind of just took everything away.
Not only does he make all of the dispatchers feel better, he brings a smile to everyone's face throughout the community. Nugget has starred in TikTok videos to raise awareness about domestic violence and joined other dispatchers to ring bells for the Salvation Army during the holidays. When he's not working hard to earn his stripes, he enjoys a few Cheez-Its and cuddles. I am told that Nugget is the only employee who is allowed to nap at work. Luckily, management lets it slide though, since he is so stinking cute.
That was awesome.
I'm going to assume that he was descented at some point.
Presumably. They look really soft though.
I know. They're so tiny. There's
They
not
are.
much body under all of that hair.
Yeah,
fur.
yeah, they're just very fluffy.
Fluffy. All right, this morning we're discussing football teams and their goals to get to the Super Bowl.
Now, despite initial reports that Damar Hamlin would be at the Buffalo Bills Stadium on Sunday, he instead ended up watching the game from home, and he tweeted this about an hour before kickoff, saying, quote, "My heart is with my guys as they compete today, supporting from home as I focus on my recovery. Nothing I want more than to be out there with them."
Hamlin visited the Bills' practice facility on Saturday, and one of his teammates posted a picture on social media. You can see he was all smiles. This comes just 2 weeks after he collapsed on the field.
Now, Hamlin was discharged from the hospital last Wednesday. He spent a week in critical condition, and he inspired his teammates, and he's inspiring people in Buffalo and all around the world. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. What is your favorite part of the Super Bowl? So far, 100% of you say it's the commercials, but you've got a number of options: the game, the food, the halftime show, time with family and friends, or perhaps all of those things, or maybe something else. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, take part in discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a group in Detroit turns Malcolm X's old home into a museum.
Plus, Italy's most famous wanted man is finally captured after he spent 30 years on the run. We'll have the latest.
Topping World Watch, Italy's most wanted mafia boss is busted after 3 decades on the run. Italian police say they arrested Matteo Messina Denaro in a private healthcare clinic in Palermo, where he was receiving undisclosed treatments. Messina Denaro, who was tried in absentia, was convicted of dozens of murders, including the 1992 killings of 2 top anti-mafia prosecutors. He was also convicted of bomb attacks a year later in Florence, Rome, and Milan, which killed 10 people. Prosecutors say the 60-year-old is the head of Sicily's Cosa Nostra Mafia, better known to us as the Godfather. Legendary Italian film star Gina Lollobrigida has died. The actress, dubbed the most beautiful woman in the world, passed away Monday in Rome. Lollobrigida Shot to fame in the 1950s as a Mediterranean sex symbol, went on to perform in 2 leading roles in the Italian comedies Bread, Love, and Dreams and Bread, Love, and Jealousy. Lollobrigida gained worldwide fame after starring opposite Humphrey Bogart in John Huston's 1954 film Beat the Devil, and for her 1955 film The World's Most Beautiful Woman, hence the name. She also starred alongside Yul Brynner, Frank Sinatra, and Rock Hudson. After stepping away from the movie world, Lollobrigida became a photographer and sculptor. She was 95 years old. Women's dress shops in Kabul are covering up mannequins' faces under a new Taliban rule. The faceless mannequins are a poignant reminder of the harsh rules imposed by the Taliban after they seized power in Afghanistan in August of 2021. Cloaking the mannequins in foil or cloth sacks is workaround to the Taliban's original decree to behead the statues of the women. A strict interpretation of Islamic law prohibits images of the human form because they could be worshipped as idols. Afghanistan's economy has been struggling since the Taliban's takeover, so the dress shop owners are doing what they can to survive under the circumstances. Well, a new tobacco control law takes effect in Mexico. Under the new law, the use of cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and heated tobacco products will be prohibited in indoor public places. The law also bans tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. An American wrongfully imprisoned in Iran is appealing to President Joe Biden to bring him and other detained U.S. citizens home. In a letter to Biden, Siamak Namazi says he's going on a 7-day hunger strike, 1 day for each year he was left out of a 2016 prisoner swap between the U.S. and Iran. Namazi is one of 3 Americans who remain detained in the country. In the letter, Namazi criticized Biden for not meeting with their families. Namazi was arrested in 2015 on espionage-related charges while visiting Iran and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He has denied the claims. The following year, his father was detained as he flew there to try to secure his release. The father was freed last year after more than 6 years due to failing health. The White House has not publicly commented on the letter. Well, protests continue in various states of Venezuela by public workers demanding a salary increase. The demonstrations, which began at the beginning of the year, have been peaceful to date. The request is partly due to the inflation registered in the country in recent months. Organizers, who have presented a series of proposals to the government, have indicated they will resume protest on Thursday if the government does not announce a wage increase. For its part, the government said it will soon make announcements on this issue. And France shows its support for Iranian protesters on Monday. The iconic Eiffel Tower lit up with slogans of admiration for demonstrators in Iran and the fight within the country for women's rights. Phrases like women, life, and freedom, and stop executions in Iran are displayed on the tower. Protests have been ongoing for 4 months since the death of Mahsa Amini, who died in the custody of Iran's morality police after she was detained for not wearing a headscarf. Just 1 week ago, Iran executed a British-Iranian national accused of spying. This may seem like an unlikely sight. Horses leaping over huge bonfires. But it's a spectacle that takes place every year in central Spain on the eve of St. Anthony's Day. St. Anthony is Spain's patron saint of animals. The event, which was held on Monday, is a purification ceremony known as Las Luminarias, a traditional festival attended by hundreds of local residents and tourists. 100 horses galloped through the community's narrow cobblestone streets, and then, according to tradition, the animals are purified by leaping through the smoke and flames. Animal rights groups say the event is cruel, but organizers say the horses are well cared for and a layer of protective wax is applied to their bodies to prevent burns. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're about, say, 20 degrees, almost colder now than we were 24 hours ago. But believe it or not, that's still about 10 to 15 degrees above normal. We are at 40 in Joplin with calm winds, so not bad. And the winds will remain calm, so not any of that crazy breeze we've had. Some of us near normal. Parsons and Neodesha really holding in there, 28 degrees apiece. 33 in Iola, 31 Fort Scott, 35 Miami, 39 Neosho. So we're at 40 in Carthage this morning. MoDOT camera looking at I-44 and Rangeline looks pretty darn good. We've got a green light for your morning drive as we are going to be mostly clear and in the 30s, and a green light for your drive home as we will see increasing cloud cover and temperatures in the 50s. Now, kids getting on the bus this morning, grab that jacket. We're looking at 36 degrees, mostly clear at 7 a.m. And by the time they get home, holding on to that light breeze, which will be nice, 56 by 3 o'clock and mostly cloudy. Clouds will increase as we head through the late morning and afternoon hours, up to 59 for the high. And then as we head into this evening, temperatures drop back through the lower 50s and just kind of hover around there. So we'll see rain chances increase and maybe even a thunderstorm or two possible across the area. In fact, those thunderstorms, once they build in, will really get going as we head into early tomorrow morning, and they'll hold on through the good portion of tomorrow. And then by late afternoon, they get out of here, and then it starts to get downright chilly after that. Rain chances, again, really start to ramp up, say 9, 10 o'clock tonight across the region. You can see on this fancy little graph here. And as we take a look ahead, we get up to 60 tomorrow. Then we start to cool down back to normal but cold. We'll have some decent weather Thursday, Friday in the 40s, maybe some rain Saturday. Early snow on Sunday, down to 42 for the high, and then back up to 47 by Monday under partly cloudy skies. And temperatures, of course, begin to drop as well for our overnight lows as we return to more seasonable conditions. We got a lot more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin Fire Department battles a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure. The flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. The JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities, and crews had the fire out by just after 4. Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. A semi crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. The crash happened in Carthage last night around Highway 96 and Jack Pine. That crash knocked over a power pole. Some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 p.m., the Empire Electric power outage map showed about 4,200 customers without power. Crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Well, a Monday afternoon crash takes the life of a Wichita, Kansas woman. The crash happened just before 3 in the afternoon when a 2004 Nissan Maxima, and driven by Taylor Chrisman, crossed the center line on U400, 1 mile south of Fredonia. Maxima struck the front of a 2015 Chevy Traverse. It was driven by Shelley Niambane. Traverse broke into several pieces. Niambane was taken to Wesley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. Chrisman, who's 18 years old, was pronounced deceased. The OSBI and federal authorities arrested a Mays County, Oklahoma man on child pornography charges. Authorities say they received a tip last December about child porn uploaded through an IP address belonging to Paul Cook. Cook was arrested last Friday. He is charged with distribution and possession of child pornography, as well as violating the Oklahoma Computer Crimes Act. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. After several years, a group in Michigan is finally able to start the process of turning the home of Malcolm X into a historical museum. Camille Amory takes us there.
When we get done with the house, we've come to an agreement that we want to turn the house into a museum. And it will symbolize the life of Malcolm X while he lived here in Inkster and further on.
Construction started this week on the house on William Street. The pivotal civil rights leader lived here over several months in the early 1950s with his brother Wilfred, along with Wilfred's wife and children.
Everybody questioning us, when are you going to do something with the house? When are you going to do something with the house? Y'all got the grant, when are you going to do something with the house? It's a protocol. It takes time. It takes steps to get to where we have this group of brothers right here to come over and start in the middle of winter.
The house now on the National List of Historic Places, a piece of history that not a lot of people know about. Malcolm X wasn't famous when he lived here. Back then, he was known as Malcolm Little.
He's such an iconic and sort of transformational civil rights leader, but also as a human being. We want people to get understanding and feel for what his life was like here in Inkster.
The nonprofit group We Hope, Dream, and Believe is committed to restoring the house to what it once was.
Well, I'm just honored, first of all, to be part of this. And the history of it, I'm going to make this home look just like it did in the 50s when Malcolm X lived here.
It's just exciting. It's just a dream come true for me for fighting for so long to save the house.
It is very humbling, if that's, appropriate way for us to feel. But I just think that to be a part of history is so important,
The project is expected to be completed this summer. We'll be right back.
All right, we are certainly colder out there. We're at 39 degrees in Joplin, a light north breeze at about 6 miles an hour, and it is chilly across the area compared to yesterday as well. As you can see, we got 33 Iola, 32 Pittsburgh, 35 Miami, and 39 in Neosho. MoDOT camera at I-44 range line looks good. Green light for your morning drive as we're mostly clear in the 30s. Green light for the drive home as we are mostly cloudy, but in the 50s. Not bad. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking at 36 at 7 a.m., and when they get home at 3 o'clock, will be 56, mostly cloudy with a light easterly breeze. We're looking at a high of 59 today, not as warm as yesterday, but not bad. Clouds increase, and then as we head into this evening, we're looking at showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms building in. Lows will drop back into the lower 50s and just kind of hover there, and then after that, we get pretty darn chilly. We're up to 60 tomorrow, and then we are in the 40s, seasonable but cold for the next several days in our forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, power goes out across Jasper County as a tractor trailer takes out some power lines and burst into flames late Monday night.
We got a colder start for us today. We're clear though, but clouds will increase. Rain chances build in tonight. We'll break it all down coming up.
And events take place across the country celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. KOAM's Yana Dula takes us to Fort Scott to talk to organizers and participants of one such event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's about 20 degrees cooler this morning than it was yesterday, but still above average for this time of year by about 10 to 15 degrees, if you can believe it. But again, cold out there as we start the day. 39 in Joplin, light north breeze at 6, making it feel like 35. We're at 33 Iola, 29 Chanute and Parsons, 35 Chatopa, Miami, 39 Neosho and Carthage, and 41 the warm spot in Monette right now. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. We do have a green light for your morning drive as we will be mostly clear and in the 30s. And for your drive home, we've got another green light as we mostly cloudy and into the 50s. Kids getting on that bus this morning, gonna need that jacket. 36, mostly clear at 7 a.m., but calm winds today, which will be quite nice compared to yesterday. 56 by 3 o'clock, and those clouds really start to increase as we go through the late morning and afternoon hours. Up to 59 for a high, so not nearly as warm as yesterday, but still, again, above average. But this above average streak is about to come to an end. Showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms building in overnight tonight. Lows drop back into the lower 50s and just kind of hang out there. And then they're going to change a bit. So let's take a look at the timing on the rain. We go into the late tonight and early tomorrow morning. You can see showers and thunderstorms scattered by morning, and then they'll really start to pick up by the afternoon hours. And by late afternoon, they exit on out of here, and as they do so, that takes the warm weather right along with them. And as we go through the rest of the week and into the weekend, yeah, we're watching more showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two Saturday, and then the possibility of snow as we head into Sunday. Take a look at the chances. So this is it's a new graph I have, so I wanted to just lay it out. The red there is Joplin's rain chances. As you can see, they really spike as we head into the overnight hours, say about 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And for the Pittsburgh area, same situation, roughly the same timing on this. And for Miami, again, roughly the same timing there, as we'll see these showers and thunderstorms start to pick up, say about between 9 and 11 this evening. And on the rain side, we could see anywhere from a ½ inch up to an inch of rain. So, not bad. We definitely need this rain, and getting any kind is certainly going to be beneficial. After it clears out, though, we get cold. We're seasonable, but cold. Temperatures back into the 40s. Maybe that early morning snow on Sunday down to 42 for the high. 25 Sunday night, and we make it back up to 47 by Monday under partly cloudy skies. So we will return to normal after tomorrow. So enjoy today while you got it, because the warmer weather tomorrow is going to be really hampered by the fact it's going to be raining most of the day. And by the time the rain clears out, temperatures are going to start to drop. So enjoy today while you can.
Okay. Yeah, definitely enjoy it. Cold and rainy. That doesn't sound fun at all.
Not in the slightest.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, a semi crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. The crash happened in Carthage last night around Highway 96 in Jack Pine. That crash knocked over a power pole, and some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 p.m., the Empire Electric power outage map showed about 4,200 customers without power. The crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Monday afternoon crash takes the life of a Wichita, Kansas woman. The crash happened just before 3 in the afternoon when a 2004 Nissan Maxima driven by Taylor Chrisman crossed the center line on Highway 400, 1 mile south of Fredonia. The Maxima struck the front of a 2015 Chevy Traverse driven by Shelley Niambane. The Traverse broke into several pieces. Niambane was taken to Wesley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. Chrisman, who was 18 years old, was pronounced dead. The Joplin Fire Department battles with a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure, and the flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. The JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities, and crews had the fire out by just after 4. The Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. Pittsburgh State University's Black Student Association held its annual Candlelight Vigil in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community members and students gathered with candles around the oval at PSU and sang "Lift Every Voice and Sing." Members of the association read part of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, and then the floor was open for anyone who wanted to share what the day meant to them.
Personally, it means a lot of growth, especially in the African American community. It's good to remember those who came before us and did a lot for us, and I think it's very good to get together and be with people who mean a lot to you and talk about why MLK is important and why it's good to keep his memory alive.
This is the 3rd year for the Martin Luther King Jr. Vigil. Fort Scott Community College joins with other groups across the nation to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. KOAM's Yana Tula visited the event and talked with organizers and participants.
Some residents in Fort Scott joined the celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, hosted by the Gordon Parks Museum inside the Ellis Fine Arts Center.
Legacy that Martin left behind, to continue that we're still fighting some of the same struggles that happened from the civil rights and we're still today in 2023. So we want to continue the education of that to let people know the struggle that continues to go, and we just need to keep moving forward.
The day included a free lunch and learn event with guest speaker John Edgar Tidwell from the University of Kansas. He talked about John Lewis's phrase, good trouble, in relations to humanity.
How can we think about the humanities in times of crisis, in times of distress, in times of contentiousness? What role do the humanities play in that particular environment? And so I started with the notion of good trouble.
The event gathered a great amount of people from the area to listen and discuss with Tidwell.
There are a lot of things I didn't really think about, but now I'm like, hey, that actually makes a lot of sense. So yeah, it was pretty enlightening.
To celebrate the day of service, the museum hosted a food drive for a local food pantry beacon.
We wanted to use this as a day of service because Martin Luther King Day is just not a day off. It should be a day on, and it's a national day of service. So we wanted to do a day of service on top of everything else. So this is our 2nd year doing the day of service for the Camp Food Drive, and this year is truly successful.
In Fort Scott, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Officials say the food drive was a success, doubling the amount collected during last year's efforts. Well, it's time for nominations for the 4 states' finest, our 2023 Viewers' Choice Awards for the KOAM News Now. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest and nominate your favorite businesses. You can submit a nominee for any of several categories, including health, fitness, shopping, restaurants, and more. You help choose the finest, and each week one viewer will be randomly chosen to win $100. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, while nearly 1 in 5 people have opted for a dry January, doctors have noticed a disturbing new trend: alcohol-related illnesses in young adults. Plus, wild weather out west continues to rock California with massive rainfall. Is drier weather on the way for the Golden State? We've got the details. And if you're looking for some local weather, Chris has you covered. Your complete forecast is coming up. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, drier weather is on the way out west this week, where multiple waves of severe storm systems have dumped massive amounts of rain and snow since late December. Cleanup is underway. President Biden has approved a disaster declaration for California, and he will visit the state later this week to assess where federal assistance is most needed for recovery efforts. Jared Hill reports.
The danger of flooding and mudslides in California continues, even with drier days on tap this week. President Biden is now set to tour the damage on the ground Thursday after waves of storms have blanketed and battered the state for weeks. Rescue workers pulled at least 7 people from the swollen San Diego River on Monday, including Arthur Bowen, who lives close to the water's edge.
They did a great job, man. They did great. I'm sorry that they had to come do it, but...
Brad Hendrickson, his wife, and 2 dogs were loaded onto a raft and carried partly to safety from the flooded mobile home park in San Joaquin County under mandatory evacuation orders.
And then the National Guard truck took us through some water to where a bus was able to pick us up.
Massive mudslides surrounded homes in this Berkeley neighborhood, affecting at least 20 residents, and saturated hills in San Mateo County caused rock slides to crash down onto the street, leaving little room for vehicles to navigate around the huge boulders. In all, more than 500 landslides have happened statewide since the new year. Trees in multiple regions were uprooted, falling onto homes.
It shook the house, it shook the foundation, shook everything.
Meanwhile, heavy snow was dumped further inland from the California mountains to Arizona and Nevada.
Personally, love the snow, but I hate driving in the snow.
Authorities have urged drivers to be cautious and patient as snowplows work to clear the streets. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, the White House says the president will meet with first responders and state officials while in California. The estimated cost of the damage caused by these weeks of severe weather is $1 billion. The death toll has reached at least 20. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we are about 20 degrees colder this morning than we were 24 hours ago, but the winds are calm. They're going to stay that way. The skies are clear. They will not stay that way. And as we look even at 7th and Range Line, there's not really any light out there, but those skies are clear. And as I mentioned, the winds are calm. We have at least a little bit more mild weather left before we start to return to more seasonable conditions in the week ahead. That means it's going to get downright cold compared to where we have been. We're going to take a look at that full forecast, some rain chances on the way, and some weather trivia when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:16 on this Tuesday morning. So our question for you this morning is, where would you commonly find these guys? Frost flowers. Is it Miami, Florida, Madrid, Spain, the Arctic, or the Sargasso Sea? We'll take a look at the answer here in just a moment, but first let's take a look at that forecast. We're at 39 in Joplin right now, north breeze at 6, making it feel like it is 35. We are colder to start our day, but still most of us above average, except for, say, Parsons, Neodesha, and Chanute, and Yates Center and Sedan. They're about average, actually, in the 20s, and we've got 33 Iola, 33 Pittsburgh, 35 Miami, 39 Neosho Carthage, and the warm spot right now is Monette at 41 degrees. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looking pretty good this morning. As you start your morning drive, we have a green light for you, as we will have mostly clear skies, temperatures in the 30s. And as you head home today, we have mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 50s, but otherwise pretty calm, pretty quiet for now. Kids getting on the bus, grab that jacket, mostly clear, 36, light east breeze at about 5 to 10. Hanging on to calm winds today, clouds increasing by 3 o'clock and 56. As we head through today, we're looking for a high of 59 degrees. Clouds will start increasing late this morning and through the afternoon. Cloudy skies by 8 down to 50, and our overnight lows will be just hovering in the lower 50s. And as we head into about between 9 and 11 tonight, We'll start to see showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms build into the area, and they'll hang with us through a good portion of tomorrow as well. So let's take a look at the future track, shall we? Here we go, 5 a.m. They're a little bit more scattered in the morning, and then as we head through the late morning and into the early afternoon, we have more widespread showers, and again, maybe a thunderstorm or two. The good news is at this point, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms, just some good old-fashioned rainmakers, which is good because we need that rain. Now, later in the evening and into the early overnight, I guess you could say, we'll start to see that clear out. But as it does so, temperatures will begin to drop behind that. So here's what we're looking at in terms of our rain chances. You can see in the Joplin area where they start to pick up as we head through the overnight hours. Same for the Pittsburgh area as well. And Miami, we're looking at roughly the same timing as these shower and thunderstorm chances begin to increase overnight. We could pick up roughly a ½ inch to possibly upwards of an inch of rain in some locations. So much needed rainfall taking place. We absolutely need it across the area, and we're finally getting some. So now back to these guys, these frost flowers. Where would you most commonly find them? Well, if you happen to guess the Arctic, you would be correct. In fact, these frosty flowers are usually found in the Arctic and are caused by imperfections in the ice in those sub-zero temperatures. Now you've learned something. All right, let's learn about the week ahead. We're up to 60 tomorrow, but here's the thing. Those warm temperatures will happen during the rain. After the rain, it cools down. So your best day to enjoy mild weather is today, down to 33 tomorrow night. We're cold but seasonable as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday. Maybe some rain on Saturday, and then possibly even some snow chances as we head into Sunday morning. I apologize. Our producer tells me how much time I have to talk to you, and he said 30 minutes just a second ago, and I said, well, we're going to have to back this up and start over. All right, here we go. We get mild one more time by next Tuesday, maybe some evening showers, and then we go right back to normal temperatures, back into the 40s, maybe a wintry mix next Wednesday. Now I'm all out of place that we're going to keep an eye on for you as well. So we're going to get cold after this, but we will be seasonable after this. We got more of the KOAM Morning News coming up.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new study finds pregnant women who get COVID-19 at any point during pregnancy are 7 times more likely to die during pregnancy or childbirth. Researchers from George Washington University also found a COVID infection during pregnancy increases the risk that the baby will need to be admitted to intensive care. The study author says it's urgent women of childbearing age get vaccinated. New research links poor hygiene practices in hospitals and long-term care facilities to antibiotic resistance. Researchers from the Georgia Institute of Technology found facilities where the staff made better use of alcohol-based hand rubs saw less antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And a new study suggests a connection between regular, deep meditation and better physical and mental health. Researchers in China say gut microbes found in Buddhist monks were linked to lower risk of anxiety, depression, and heart disease. Well, nearly 1 in 5 adults say they are taking part in Dry January as people give up alcohol for the month to kick off a new year on a healthy note. And despite this, doctors are seeing a disturbing new trend of alcohol-related illnesses in young adults. Nancy Chen reports.
Jessica Duenas was leading a double life. Named Kentucky's 2019 Teacher of the Year, she had also developed a heavy drinking problem.
The day that I won my award, I was in withdrawals and I could not wait to go home so that I could drink.
Doctors told Duenas, now 37, she had developed alcoholic liver disease. She needed to stop drinking, or she could die.
I was realizing that it was genuinely changing my body. That's when I started to get scared.
Alcoholic liver disease kills about 22,000 Americans every year. Nearly a quarter are people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s.
A lot of your patients don't think they have a problem with alcohol?
Unfortunately, no. Many of them don't really have the insight into the fact that the alcohol is what brought them to the emergency room.
Dr. Thomas Schiano says he's seen a dramatic increase of alcohol-related liver disease in young adults, particularly women.
The stresses of the pandemic and of our life really has affected young people, so I think it sneaks up on them and then it becomes too late.
The CDC defines heavy drinking for men as 15 drinks or more per week. For women, it's 8 or more. Doctors advise those looking to cut back to choose alcohol-free days. Alternate with a non-alcoholic drink when you do consume, and exercise instead of going to happy hour.
Just because we might not look like a textbook case doesn't mean that our relationship with alcohol isn't worth examining.
Dueñas, who says she has been sober for more than 2 years, now coaches others, creating a community of support. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are off to a colder start for us today as we take a look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. It looks good. We do have a green light for your morning drive as we are mostly clear and in the 30s, and a green light for the drive home as we'll be mostly cloudy and in the 50s. Now, kids getting on the bus this morning, we're looking at about 36 degrees at 7 a.m., but the winds are calmer today than they were yesterday. We'll make it up to 56 by 3 o'clock under mostly cloudy skies, and we're heading for a high of about 59 degrees. Clouds will increase late this morning and through the afternoon hours, and then as we head into the evening, as we'll start to see some shower and maybe even thunderstorm chances begin to increase, and temperatures will hover right around the lower 50s throughout the overnight hours. On the future track, by the time we head into sunrise tomorrow, we're looking at those scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region, and as the morning progresses, they become more widespread, and by noon, we're just kind of inundated with showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms. No severe weather expected, no strong thunderstorms expected, just some good old rainmakers. Now, by late evening, that system starts to exit, and as it does so, temperatures fall pretty quickly back behind that. We take a look at the rain chances over the next 24 hours, and you can see it's going to be roughly between 9 and 11 o'clock tonight for Joplin, Pittsburgh, Miami, the whole region is when we're going to start to see rain chances really increase across the area. And from this rain, we could see anywhere from a ½ inch to maybe upwards of 1 inch of rain out of this, and that is much needed rain across the area. Now let's take a look at our extended forecast. We are up to 60 tomorrow, but that's going to be warm during the rain. Afterwards, it gets cold. We get seasonable but cold down into the 40s for the upcoming week. We're getting overnight lows in the 30s. We got some rain chances Saturday. It could translate into some early morning snow Sunday as we drop back down to 32, 42 Sunday, 25 Sunday night, and then back up to what's going to seem pretty decent, 47 on Monday with partly cloudy skies. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, power goes out across Jasper County as a tractor trailer takes out some power lines and burst into flames late Monday night.
Clear, calm, and cold is how we're starting our Tuesday morning. We'll talk about at least a day or so more of mild temperatures and some seasonable weather that's on the way coming up.
And events take place across the country celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. KOAM's Yana Dula takes us to Fort Scott to talk to organizers and participants of just such an event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is pretty chilly to start our Tuesday, but still above normal for us across the area. And we have some pretty clear skies to start the day. I know you can't tell yet because there's no daylight, but I promise the skies are looking pretty good so far at 7 to N Range Line and across the area. We're at 39 in Joplin with a north breeze at 6, making it feel like 35. Across the region, as you can see, winds have shifted a bit. We're at 31 Iola, 29 Yates Center, Chanute, Parsons, 35 Chatopa, 34 Miami, and 39 in Neosho and Carthage as we start our day. MoDOT camera, I-44 and Range Line, not looking too bad. For your morning drive, we're giving you a green light as we'll have mostly clear skies, temperatures in the 30s, and another green light for your drive home as we'll be mostly cloudy and in the 50s. Kids getting on the bus, grab that coat. It's going to be chilly. 7 a.m. We're looking at 36 degrees, but considerably calmer winds today. And the clouds build in this afternoon. We're at 56 by 3 o'clock. We're looking at a high of about 59 degrees in Joplin. Some of us may breach into the lower 60s today. Clouds will start increasing later this morning, and then we'll end up plain old cloudy by 8 as we see shower and thunderstorm chances increase as we head into the overnight hours. Overnight lows dropping back down into the lower 50s and just kind of hovering there for us. And the rain's going to stick around through most of our Wednesday. Now, we're going to make it up to 60 tomorrow, but that's going to be a little unfun because here's the deal. It's going to be warm while it's raining. After the rain clears out and this system leaves us, it's going to leave us with cold but seasonable temperatures. We drop back into the 40s through the rest of the week and into next week. We see some rain chances possibly on Saturday, and if those rain chances stick around overnight, we drop back down to 32. We could see some morning snow on Sunday. Nothing crazy, but a little bit of snow out there possible. 42 Sunday, back up to 47 on Monday. And as we look beyond that, we got 52 next Tuesday, so not bad. Some evening rain, then maybe a wintry mix on Wednesday, only 42. So as you can see, we're going to be seasonable, but it's going to feel cold because we've been really spoiled the last several days. And overnight lows dropping back into the 30s and even into the 20s on some occasions out there. So enjoy today while you can, because unless you like singing in the rain, which when there's thunderstorms, it's not really advisable, you're not going to be able to enjoy the 60-degree weather tomorrow.
All right. Well, yes, that's for sure. Got to be careful.
Yeah, and with the calm winds today, it's going to be great to get out.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, Chris. The family of a Miami, Oklahoma man who was killed in a hit and run last year settles a wrongful death case against the driver. The crash happened in Miami last February. Authorities say Mindy McBrien hit 58-year-old Kwanzin Yi with her car and then drove off. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Under the settlement, McBrien has agreed to pay a $100,000 in liability insurance limits to Yi's family. McBrien's criminal case is still going through the courts. She's charged with manslaughter and fleeing the scene of an accident. The Joplin Fire Department battles with a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure. Flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. The JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities. The crews had the flames out by just after 4. The Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. A semi-crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. The crash happened in Carthage last night around Highway 96 and Jack Pine. And that crash knocked over a power pole, and some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 p.m., Empire Electric power outage maps showed about 4,200 customers without power. Crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Authorities in Cyril, Oklahoma say the search for a missing 4-year-old girl is now considered a recovery operation. Athena Brownfield has not been seen since last Tuesday. On that day, her 5-year-old sister was found outside of her relative and caretaker's home by a postal carrier. Athena and her sister had been in the care of Alyssa and Ivan Adams for at least a year. Alyssa Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams faces 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. He was arrested in Arizona last week and is awaiting extradition to Oklahoma. Well, if you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on an app store of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. The Gordon Parks Museum hosted a celebration inside the Ellis Fine Arts Center. Movies were played during the day with a day of service, canned food drive, a free lunch, and Learn event brought a guest speaker from the University of Kansas to speak and answer questions with participants. Kirk Sharp, organizer for the event, thinks the takeaway from the event is to understand the struggles still happening today and have a day of service.
We wanted to use this as a day of service because Martin Luther King Day is just not a day off. It should be a day on, and it's a national day of service. So we wanted to do a day of service on top of everything else. So this is our 2nd year doing the day of service for the canned food drive, and this year is truly successful.
Sharp says they got lots of food donations. The amount of canned food items collected for local Beacon Food Pantry doubled in size from the previous year. Well, this morning, we're discussing football teams and their goals to get to the Super Bowl.
And despite initial reports that DeMar Hamlin was going to be at the Buffalo Bills Stadium on Sunday, he instead watched the game from home. He tweeted this about an hour before kickoff, saying, quote, "My heart is with my guys as they compete today, supporting from home as I focus on my recovery. Nothing I want more than to be out there with them."
Hamlin visited the Bills practice facility on Saturday. One of his teammates posted a picture on social media. You can see he was all smiles. This comes just 2 weeks after he collapsed on the field.
Now, Hamlin was discharged from the hospital last Wednesday. He spent a week in critical condition, and he inspired his teammates, and he's inspiring people in Buffalo and all around the world. That brings us to our question for you. What's your favorite part of the Super Bowl? Got a lot of choices out there. So far, it's fairly evenly split between a lot of these. 12% of you say the game, the party food, the commercials, the halftime show, and time with family and friends. And 40% of you say it's all of the above.
I'm glad we included that because it's tough to decide. I'm leaning towards that party food, though. It's pretty good.
There can be some pretty good party food.
Speaking of the Bills, they will be playing the Bengals again on Sunday, and you can watch that game right here on KOAM at 2 p.m.
All right. So make sure you vote also in our poll through our website, the app, and take part in discussion on Facebook.
All right. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, where lovebirds go to get away from it all.
Honeymooners are changing the way they travel since the pandemic. I'm Wendy Gillette on the island of Maui in Hawaii with What's Different.
Plus, we're going to take another look at some rain chances on the way and a big cool down when the KOAM Morning News returns.
In Consumer Watch this morning, the annual World Economic Forum kicks off in Davos, Switzerland Monday with around 2,700 business leaders, heads of state and government officials. U.S. Special Climate Envoy John Kerry is also attending this week. The gathering will focus on a range of issues, including inflation, climate change, and Russia's war on Ukraine. The same day the conference began, Oxfam International released a report that said the world's richest 1% gained almost twice the wealth as the other 99% since the pandemic. The anti-poverty group proposed taxing multimillionaires and billionaires, as well as windfall taxes on energy and food companies to address global inequality. Bissell is recalling more than 60,000 of its cordless multi-surface wet-dry vacuums due to a fire hazard. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the battery pack can overheat and smoke, with 5 reports of fire that resulted in 3 instances of minor property damage and 1 burn injury. Consumers are cautioned to immediately stop using the recalled vacuums and contact Bissell for a free battery pack replacement. Popular West Coast fast food chain In-N-Out Burger announces plans to expand eastward. The company expects to open new restaurants in the Nashville, Tennessee area in 2026. In-N-Out will also build its first Eastern U.S. territory office in Franklin, Tennessee. Well, the way couples honeymoon has changed since the pandemic. Not only how long they travel, but how much money they spend. Wendy Gillette reports from Wailea, a community on the island of Maui in Hawaii.
Maui is a honeymooner's paradise with activities like outrigger canoeing, whale watching, and luau's. It's what brought honeymooners Will and Cortland McDougal from Dallas to Marriott's Wailea Beach Resort.
Growing up, I came to Maui a lot, and it's just a very special place to me, and I wanted to share it with my beautiful bride.
The property is in Wailea, home to 8 luxury resorts, including the Fairmont Kealani, which just unveiled a complete renovation of all of its suites and villas.
The Fairmont has found honeymooners are now staying almost twice as long compared to before the pandemic.
Additionally, we found that honeymooners are now no longer coming in waves. They're coming consistently throughout the year.
They're also spending more, according to the honeymoon registry Honey Fund, an average of $4,800 now compared to $3,400 pre-pandemic. Wailea Beach Resort finds couples are indulging in more private experiences like romantic oceanfront dinners and floating pool cabanas.
Through the pandemic, couples have felt like they have been refrain from what they can do, and they want to really be able to celebrate.
That's similar to what Jade Mountain in St. Lucia is seeing, but there, some couples never leave the unique rooms with no fourth wall called sanctuaries for much of their stay. And now those stays average a week compared to 5 days before the pandemic.
There is this new term that was created called revenge travel, and I feel we see a little bit of that influence also on our honeymoon, so maybe we have the revenge moons happening here.
We got special rates at the hotels. With sanctuaries that look like this, it's easy to get any kind of revenge travel you want at Jade Mountain, honeymooner or not. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Honey Fund also finds couples are getting more in gifts. The average used to be $1,600 before the pandemic, and now it's almost $1,950. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chilly start for us today, especially compared to yesterday morning. We're sitting at 39 in Joplin, feeling like 35 with a north breeze at about 6. Across the region, we got that north breeze. We got some cold temperatures. We got 29 Parsons, Chanute, Yates Center, 28 Neodesha, 34 Chautauqua, Miami, 39 Neosho, Carthage, and up to 42 in Monette and Cassville this morning. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looking pretty good. We have clear skies to start, even though it's still in its night vision mode. You can see the sun is beginning to rise. We do have a green light for your morning drive as we are mostly clear and cold. And as we look at our drive home, another green light as we are mostly cloudy and mild. Kids getting on the bus this morning, want to grab a jacket. It's 36 at 7 a.m., but with calm winds, and winds will be calm throughout today, which is good. 56 by 3 o'clock with those mostly cloudy skies. And into this afternoon, we're looking at a high of about 59 in Joplin. Some of us might even peak into the lower 60s. Not as warm as yesterday, but pretty darn close. Clouds increase late morning through the afternoon. We're plain old cloudy by 8, and that's ahead of showers and even some thunderstorms that'll be building in late tonight, and we'll have our overnight lows hovering into the lower 50s across the area. Once that rain really starts to build in, we start with the scattered showers and thunderstorms, say around 5 a.m. Excuse me. And then as we go through the morning, showers and thunderstorms become more widespread. This is by noon. Now we're going to be mild tomorrow, but unfortunately the mild temperatures are going to happen while it's raining. Once this system starts to exit and we get on the back side of it, there you see temperatures begin to drop. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast real quick. So we're up to 60 tomorrow, but that's going to be while it's raining, down to 33. We get cold but seasonable as we go through the rest of the week into the 40s, maybe some rain possibly on Saturday. Temperatures drop back down to about freezing Saturday night. Means we could get some morning snow on Sunday. Nothing crazy, but there could be some slick spots. 42 Sunday and then back up to 47 by Monday. We've got birthdays and anniversaries on the way, but first, why don't we take a look at what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, the strides made by America's largest private employer to better compensate its employees and why one notable critic says bigger changes are still needed. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Gary Peschel Jr. Private First Class Peschel served in the Army in 2006. He served in Iraq with the 501st Forward Support Battalion. During his service, he earned numerous medals. A native of Carthage, Missouri, we thank you. Today's four-state hero, Gary Peschel Jr.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states, and we are starting in Girard with Devin Miller celebrating birthday number 9. Happy birthday, Devin.
Chloe Storm turning 15 years old this year. Chloe is in Jasper, Missouri. Happy birthday.
And we've got Alexia Davis turning 15 over in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday.
And in Nevada, Shane Hirschman celebrating the big 4-0 today. There he is with a little throwback pic.
And we're going to head west to Fredonia, where we find Danny Letterman celebrating birthday number 65. Danny, happy birthday.
All right. And Kathleen Ortiz celebrating birthday number 80 this year. Looking great there, Kathleen, in Carthage.
And last but not least, in Parsons, we're celebrating Valerie Scott's birthday today. Valerie, a very happy birthday to you as well. Now, of course, this list was relatively short. We want it longer. Tanya can tell you how to make that happen.
All you have to do is send us your birthdays. You can always drop them by the station during business hours or mail them to us. But you can also get them to us really fast by email. Send all the information and the picture to birthdays@KOAMTV.com or birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com.
And while you're at our website, why don't you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some awesome deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. Just head over to KOAMNewsNow.com. Sign up for that birthday club today. All right, we are colder this morning than we were yesterday, but still above average in most places. 39 Joplin, feeling like 35 with a north breeze at 6. The average locations, which is right where we should be, would be Parsons, Chanute, Yates Center, Neodesha, and Sedan, all in the upper 20s. We got 32 Pittsburgh, 34 Miami, 39 Neosho, Carthage, and the warm spots, Monette and Cassville at 42. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looking pretty good this morning. Green light for your morning drive, as well as mostly clear skies and in the 30s, and a green light for that drive home, as we mostly cloudy, but dry and in the 50s. And the good news is the winds today considerably calmer than they were yesterday. 36 at 7 a.m. when the kids get on the bus. Clouds increase later. 56 mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock. Looking at highs in the upper 50s, maybe even a couple of lower 60s out there. Clouds start increasing late this morning, and then we're just plain old cloudy by 8 o'clock. And our overnight lows are just going to hover in the lower 50s as we start to see some shower and thunderstorm activity build into the area. We're not expecting any strong or severe storms. We're just looking at some good old-fashioned rainmakers out there, which is something we absolutely need. Now, today is a great day to enjoy the mild weather because even though we're 60 tomorrow, we'll be mild during the rain. And once we get on the backside of this system, that's when it gets colder, down to 33 tomorrow night, in the 40s Thursday and Friday, but partly cloudy skies. Looking at some rain chances Saturday, 48 down to 32, and as that rain continues, we could see it transition to some light snow on Sunday. 42 Sunday, down to 25, and up to 47 Monday with partly cloudy skies. We've got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin Fire Department does battle with a Monday afternoon blaze. Crews responded to a structure fire in the Blinville neighborhood of Joplin just after 3:30. Flames were visible on the south side of the structure. Flames had also spread into a small grass fire that was quickly contained. The JPD says the structure was vacant with no utilities. Crews had the flames out by just after 4. Joplin Fire Department is investigating the cause. Semi-crash takes out a power pole, knocking out electricity for thousands of customers in southwest Missouri and sparking a fire. Crash happened in Carthage last night around Highway 96 in Jack Pine. That crash knocked over a power pole. Some electric customers lost power in Webb City, Oronogo, Alba, and Purcell, Missouri. Around 10 p.m., the Empire Electric power outage map showed about 4,200 customers without power. Crews had power restored by just after midnight. No word on whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Monday afternoon crash takes the life of a Wichita, Kansas woman. The crash happened just before 3 p.m. when a 2004 Nissan Maxima driven by Taylor Chrisman crossed the center line on U-400 1 mile south of Fredonia in Wilson County. The Maxima struck the front of a 2015 Chevy Traverse driven by Shelley Namebane. The Traverse broke into several pieces. Namebane was taken to Wesley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. Chrisman, who was 18 years old, was pronounced dead. The OSBI and federal authorities arrest a Mays County, Oklahoma man on child pornography charges. Authorities say they received a tip last December about child porn uploaded through an IP address belonging to Paul Cook. Now, Cook was arrested last Friday. He is charged with distribution and possession of child pornography, as well as violating the Oklahoma Computer Crimes Act. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We are looking for a high of about 59 degrees. Some of us may even creep into the lower 60s. Clouds start increasing later this morning, and we will be mostly cloudy throughout the day, but much calmer winds for us as well. As we head into this evening, showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms start building into the overnight hours. Lows hovering right into the lower 50s. And as we take a look at that 7-day forecast, we are going to be mild tomorrow, but that's only during the rain, really. Once this system exits, temperatures drop down to 33, the 40s for the rest of the week. Maybe some rain Saturday, turning into some early morning snow Sunday, and then back up to 47 by next Monday.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a crowd-pleasing brisket in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Inflation appears to be slowing, yet housing costs are still up. Next on CBS Mornings, Nancy Chen looks at more young adults moving back in with their parents amid the high cost of living.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission stops by our studio to show us how to make an apple, blueberry, and pear crisp.
Sounds pretty tasty. And we've got the SEK Humane Society in the studio to tell us all about an upcoming adoption event. And I hear they're also bringing a furry friend with them today. They said it's, Tim says it's in the control room. Their furry friend is already here in our control room. So you'll get to meet their furry friend over on our morning show on Fox 14. That's going to wrap it up for us for here on KOAM. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.